Good evening, and welcome to your AI Daily Press Evening Podcast for September 2, 2025. Firstly, we've been following the developing story of China's growing influence on the global stage. Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin recently met in Beijing, reaffirming their commitment to strengthening ties between their nations. This strategic partnership has significant implications for international relations and global governance. In another story, we examine the recent proposal in Australia to introduce an empty room tax, which aims to penalize homeowners for having unoccupied rooms in their properties. The idea has sparked a heated debate about the role of taxation in society, with critics arguing that it would be an overreach of government power and infringe upon individuals' property rights. Lastly, we touched on the ongoing tensions between Russia and the West, particularly in the wake of the conflict in Ukraine. China has maintained a delicate balance in its relations with both Russia and the international community, walking a fine line between supporting its strategic partner and avoiding condemnation from the global community. These stories highlight the complexities and nuances of global politics, taxation, and international relations. We'll continue to monitor these developments and provide in-depth analysis and expert insights on our podcast and social media channels. Join the conversation using AIDailyPress and share your thoughts on these pressing issues. Until next time, good evening. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Walter, and then shall know what's right now. Firstly, we've been following the devastating humanitarian crisis in Gaza, where the United Nations has warned of a catastrophic situation with hospitals overwhelmed and medical supplies running low. The conflict between Israel and Palestine has led to a complex interplay of factors, including a blockade, the impact of COVID-19, and ongoing violence. In our second story, we reported on the growing pressure from the international community to address the crisis in Gaza, with protests taking place worldwide and calls for an emergency meeting of the United Nations General Assembly. The situation has been described as a crime against humanity, with many arguing that silence or inaction is complicity. Lastly, we delved into the dispute between the United Nations and Israel over a famine declaration in Gaza, where the situation has become increasingly dire with reports of widespread hunger and malnutrition. We provided historical context to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and spoke to experts who highlighted the need for a balanced approach to conveying the gravity of the situation without sensationalism. These stories highlight the urgency and complexity of the humanitarian crises we're facing today. We'll continue to follow these developments and provide in-depth analysis and updates as more information becomes available. Thank you for joining us tonight, and until next time, good night and stay informed. This is Barbara Waters reporting. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm your host, Louis. Tonight, we're summarizing the key stories that have been shaping the financial landscape over the past few days. Firstly, we took a closer look at the U.S. stock market as it enters September, a month often marked by volatility. Despite August's positive performance, with the S&P 500 and Dow ending with gains of 2% and 1.5% respectively, U.S. stock futures have taken a downturn, signaling a potentially cautious start to the trading week. We also discussed the recent federal appeals court ruling that deemed President Trump's sweeping global tariffs unconstitutional. This decision could have profound implications for U.S. trade policy and ongoing trade tensions with various countries. Additionally, we touched on the speculations surrounding potential rate cuts by the Federal Reserve and its impact on gold prices, which have pushed past their record high of $2,000. In other news, we examined the global economy's navigation through treacherous waters, with trade tensions, monetary policy, and geopolitics all vying for attention. The upcoming U.S. data releases, including the jobs report and manufacturing surveys, will be crucial in shaping the trajectory of financial markets. Lastly, we highlighted the importance of remaining vigilant and adaptable as investors, given the ongoing uncertainties surrounding trade policies the COVID-19 pandemic, and the overall health of the global economy. That's all for tonight, folks. Thank you for joining us on the AI Daily Press Evening Podcast. Until tomorrow, stay informed and plan ahead. Remember, in the world of finance, the only constant is change. We'll be back with more analysis and insights to help you navigate the complexities of the global economy. Good night. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Over the past few nights, we've explored some fascinating stories from the world of space exploration and astronomy. Firstly, we took a journey through the cosmos with NASA's latest updates on near-Earth asteroids, including asteroid QD8, which recently flew by our planet at a relatively close distance of 100 million miles. We also discussed the importance of monitoring these celestial bodies for planetary defense and the potential threats they may pose to our planet. We also delved into the exciting world of space exploration with Interlune's mission to mine the moon for helium-3, a rare isotope that could provide a clean and sustainable source of energy. This groundbreaking venture has the potential to revolutionize the way we think about resource extraction and could enable human settlements on other planets. Lastly, we ventured into the Jupiter system with NASA's latest discoveries and explored the possibilities of standing on the surface of Ganymede or Europa one day. These stories remind us of humanity's innate curiosity and drive to explore the vast expanse of our universe. That's a brief summary of our recent coverage in the AI Daily Press Evening Podcast. Thank you for joining me on this journey through space and astronomy. Until next time, keep looking up at those stars. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Tonight, we're summarizing the key stories that have been making headlines in the world of sports. Firstly, in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys are under scrutiny following the trade of Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports, has voiced his support for Jerry Jones' commitment to winning, despite the team's limited playoff success in recent years. This raises important questions about the role of ownership in professional sports and the balance between passion and strategic decision-making. In other news, we're just a week away from the start of the NFL season, and our experts have been analyzing the top contenders. The Cleveland Browns, led by quarterback Deshaun Watson, are looking to make a deep playoff run, while teams like the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs are gearing up for another successful season. In baseball, the American League is witnessing a thrilling season, with several teams vying for a spot in the playoffs. The Giants have been on a tear, winning 8 of their last 9 games and are now back at 500. Meanwhile, the Guardians are still alive for the last wild-card spot, but need to break out of their cycle of winning followed by falling back. We're also keeping an eye on some exciting young talent, including Junior Caminero, who is poised to join an elite group of players with 30 home runs and 100 RBIs in a single season. And Mike Trout is still waiting for his 400th career home run, with 23 games having passed since his last long ball. That's all for tonight's summary, folks. Tune in tomorrow for more expert analysis and updates on the world of sports. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, goodbye and good night. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Correll.
Thank you, Howard. First, we looked at the story of King Tawera's skull being returned to Madagascar, a significant cultural and symbolic gesture for the Sakalava people. This story reminds us of the importance of tradition, identity, and the connection between people and their environment. Next, we explored the world of retail with a new ordinance in Long Beach, California, requiring retailers to staff self-checkout counters with employees. This innovative approach aims to boost customer support, address concerns over retail theft, and strike a balance between technological efficiency and human oversight. Finally, we touched on the story of Post Malone's recent concert, where he paid tribute to his fans by performing a special song. However, since that article was not provided, we will instead mention our first story about Post Malone was not available, but we did have an article about him in one of our previous podcasts where we discussed the intersection of music and community. These stories remind us of the importance of finding balance in our lives, whether it's between technology and human connection or preserving cultural traditions. As we navigate the complexities of our modern world, let's take a moment to appreciate the local customs, traditions, and people that make each community unique. That's all for tonight's podcast. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, I'm Charles, and I wish you a peaceful evening. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. I'm your host, Joan. Tonight, we're recapping the latest scoop on Hollywood's hottest stars. First up, we've got the inside dish on Gwyneth Paltrow's Labor Day weekend getaway. The 50-year-old actress was spotted rocking a tiny blue bikini, and let me tell you, she looked absolutely stunning. We also took a peek at her Instagram post, where she shared some enviable summer snaps with her husband and kids. Next, we talked about Jennifer Aniston's surprising confession she's not a fan of the Met Gala. In fact, she's been invited in the past, but has always politely declined. Jen gets real about feeling nervous and overwhelmed on red carpets, and honestly, who can blame her? The fashion world can be brutal. Lastly, we gave it up for Jennifer Aniston, folks. This Hollywood legend is still killing the game with her classic style and wit intact. From her iconic strapless silver Oscar de la Renta gown at the Emmys, to her refreshing honesty about feeling nervous on red carpets, Jen remains a true superstar. That's all for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Evening Podcast. Until next time, stay fabulous, and remember, if you want to look like Gwyneth Paltrow, you have to be willing to put in the work, or at least have a really good dermatologist. This is Joan, signing off. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David at Nature.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we have a tale of hope and conservation from Ecuador, where efforts to restore degraded habitats are paying off and the local wildlife is thriving once again. Next, we head to the southern United States, where the critically endangered Florida grasshopper sparrow is getting a helping hand from an unlikely hero, the U.S. Air Force. The Air Force's training range has inadvertently created a safe haven for this tiny bird, and conservation efforts are underway to protect its habitat. Lastly, we dive into the depths of the ocean to uncover the fascinating story of the sailback hound shark, a rare species thought to be lost to the annals of time. Recently spotted again in Papua New Guinea after nearly half a century, this incredible creature is reminding us of the importance of conservation efforts in protecting our planet's biodiversity. These stories showcase the power of human determination and collaboration in making a positive impact on the environment. Join us next time on the AI Daily Press as we explore more incredible stories from the world of science, nature, and conservation. Until then, good night, and thank you for joining me on this journey into the natural world. And that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David at Nature for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.